And one more document is there now. So that is that. I told you should go through this one also. I will explain this one also. Okay. Important points to collect. Okay. Operating system. What is an operating system? That is the first important. Second one is different types of operating systems. SOS, simple operating system, network operating system, single user, single task, single user, multitask, multi-user, multitask, mobile operating systems. Okay. Avoid these two things in the interviews. Okay. Different mobile operating system you already know. That is we discussed. Different voices. Windows OS, Linux OS, Unix OS, like that. Apple OS, mobile voices, like different voices. That's it. Difference between a desktop OS and server OS. What to do with the desktop OS, what to do with the server OS. Difference between web browser and operating system. What is a web browser? What is a operating system? Okay. Difference between Windows and Linux. That is also we discussed. I'm not explaining anything right now, so just I'm talking what we have finished. If anything is left over from your document, please tell me. So we'll concentrate on the leftover parts only. Okay. So just compare our notes with the SAR shared one notes now, that is GPS or GCS part. So anything mismatch is there, anything I didn't complete in that one, please tell me, I will complete definitely. Okay. So different your operating system version and editions. Okay. Different server OSs. And also we talking about operating system, how operating system is loaded. That is called a boot processing. The simple steps of boot processing also I mentioned here. Next, of course, already you have introduction to the hardware components, but we are already repeated. I also repeated the hardware related kind of stuff. Different hardware components like what is a CPU, how it is look like, what are the different current manufacturers models, processor specifications, you can able to check it. Okay. Difference between the RAM and ROM. Okay. Primary memories are RAM and ROM. So we discussed about a RAM and as well as a ROM also. RAM models for a desktop use DIM packages. For laptop use SODIMM packages. How it is look like DIM and SODIMM. And if you want to change or replace the RAM or you want to add a RAM, what are the things you have to check it first. Next, ROM. What is the ROM? That is the BIOS. That is the use of this BIOS. Okay, BIOS is a firmware. BIOS is a firmware which is inside your ROM chip. Okay, what is the purpose of this firmware? What is the help of the firmware? Next, different BIOS chips and what is the BIOS settings? What we can able to do in the BIOS settings? That is also we discussed. What is a CMOS battery? It is a lithium battery, 3 volts battery, which give power supply to your BIOS chip or your ROM chip. Okay. So what is the purpose? If system is shut down, the BIOS settings will go to the factory default. BIOS settings go to the factory default. So what you will do? So you have to give power, you must give us additional power supply to your BIOS chip. Even you shut down your PC, the BIOS chip contains data. I mean, what are the data you changed from the factory default? The settings you have modified. Those things will be like that, and continuous running of date and time will be happen if you give power supply. Or to give, use a lithium battery for that one. This lithium battery also we are calling it as a CMOS battery. If this CMOS battery's charge is done, or you remove and reset the battery, or no charging the battery, what happen? You will get a CMOS checksum bad or error. So what to do? You have to replace the battery. We discussed about a motherboards also, how the motherboard is look like, what are the slots, sockets on the motherboards are there. In different sockets and their names and importances. And SMPS also we discuss what is the purpose of SMPS. So convert AC power supply to DC power supply. Okay, computer need DC power supply. Okay, and what are the things we have to check properly in a power? And we also discussed about a storages. Okay, we discussed about a storages like a hard disk, SSDs. We discussed. Okay, and there is a question like what is the difference between RAM and hard disk? RAM is a primary memory and temporary memory. RAM is near to the processor. What are the instructions and data will load it to the CPU, CPU to the RAM. But hard disk is a non-volatile memory. Even you disconnect from the system, hard disk contains the data like that only. It's a mass storage device. RAM is available in 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB like that, but this hard disk is 500 GB, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte of hard disk also there. Okay. And some are the issues also we discuss. If CPU is getting overheated, system restarts again and again. SMP is not providing required power supply, system restarts again and again. If RAM failed or lose connection, dust on the RAM edges, consulates are having some dust, it causes post failure, black screen or a blank screen. If CMOS battery is low power or no power, it resets BIOS settings to the factory default. So you will get it shows CMOS checksum battery. Okay. Those related issues also we discussed here. Okay, that is also good. CPU overheating, CPU heat sink paste, post errors, second one, and CMOS checksum error, and third one. And finally, the storage devices, different storage devices. Actually, here only two are written, but nowadays you have to make it three. One is magnetic type of storages like hard disk, floppy disk, zip drives, and tape drives. Optical type of storages like compact disc, CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays. And another type is NAND storages. NAND type of storage means your memory cards. NAND type of storages, memory cards, pen drives, SSDs. These are the NAND storage types. Okay. So I given some specifications of these devices already. And tape drives still we are using for a cheaper backup solutions. This is the tape drives. These are the floppy disks, CD-ROM, DVD client. Okay. Another type of storage is which is we don't use in our desktops or laptops and home purposes, small offices. We don't use it. We use this type of storage like a SCSI storages. We use in enterprises, bigger organizations. Use the SCSI type of storages for storing huge amount of data and write controllers. Okay, and hot swappable features are there in this one SCSI. In these SCSIs also comes in serial connectivity, that is SAS, serial attached to storage disk. It's usually used for server purposes, not for our desktop and laptops. Okay, that connecting mechanism we do not have. That's the thing. Okay, in generally what we are using is internal hard disk or SSDs. Nowadays we are using SSD. SSD is also SATA type of connectivity, NVMe type of connectivity is also there. In mobile phones and mini laptops they use eMMCs. And also you store the data externally. This is first three are internal, then externally can store data like pen drives, external hard disk, SSD cards, kind of stuff. Hard disk also, if there is a hard disk like platter, data stored in a platter, okay, and it is connectivity is SATA or a PATA type of interfaces, means parallel connectors and serial connectors also types are there. So this is a PATA interface. It means the pin connector, 40 pin connector connect with a ribbon cable. SATA connector. Okay, it is a 7 pin. This type of cable we are connecting. Compared to PATA, SATA is a faster. And in internal hard disk also 2.5 3.5-inch hard disk are there. 3.5-inch hard disk for desktops, 2.5-inch hard disk for the laptops. Okay, external hard disk for storing data externally, heavy data transmission and data backups purpose. SSDs, coming to the hard disk to SSD, okay, there is a comparison, hard disk and SSD comparison is there. What is the comparison? So hard disk is data stores in the platter, SSD data stores in the chips. Hard disk is magnetic type of storage and SSD is a NAND memory storages. SSD lighter weight, easy to transfer, less power consumption, smaller the size, and heavy data transmission and read and write purposes. These SSDs are mainly for operating system and application, so faster booting, faster application loading speed. But cost, because of the costly, so normal regular data we better to store in normal hard disk and regular data store in normal hard disk, and these things which your operating system application better to store in SSD. Okay, in SSDs also SATA interface SSD, NVMe.M.2 SSDs also there. Compared to SATA interface SSD, NVMe.M.2 is faster. Okay, okay, almost all 4 or 5 times of fastness is there. Okay. And this NVMe is directly inserted on a motherboard just like a RAM. And also we discussed about a system configuration. How to check system configuration? If you got a question, what is your laptop configuration or a desktop configuration or system configuration, you must tell about your system, your computer or laptop or a desktop, whatever the name you put it. Guys, people are still confusing mode or people are there. Okay. So that's why I have to tell all the names. Okay. CPU, what is your CPU? Company name, model number, like that, specifications. So Intel i5, 10th generation, that is enough. Okay. RAM, what is your RAM? 16 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM, like that. Storage, 500 GB hard disk, 200 GB hard disk, 1 terabyte like a hard disk or SSD, like you can say. Operating system, what is your operating system? What is your OS? Like a Windows 10 Home Edition, Windows 11 Home Edition, Windows 10 Pro Edition, like that. Okay, OS. If you have a graphical card, if you have any specific additional graphic card there, then you can specify that one. Otherwise, it's not required. It's purely optional. Okay. So these are the things you should compulsory tell. CPU, RAM, storage, OS. And how to check it. If you don't know how to check it, that is also we have discussed. Okay, you can use MS Info 32 or DX Diag about your PC. A task manager also you can give, or you can use a third-party tools to get to know the information. Okay, so once you find it, you have to tell the configuration. And we also discussed about a device drivers. What is the purpose of device drivers? You have a device and your operating system not having the any generic drivers for that particular device. So your operating system cannot able to communicate with your device. So you attach a device like maybe you connected a printer and your system are not understanding how to communicate with this printer because it does not contain the printer drivers. What to do? You have to install the drivers, then system will recognize the device and you can work with it. Okay, the device can be a printer or it can be a pen drive or it can be audio chip or it can be a graphic card or it can be some network card. Okay, so it can be any device. I already explained that process, guys. Just I'm touching each one. Device management. If you go to the device management, you can see what are the devices, their drivers are installed or not, is a device is enabled or disabled. If you want to update the device drivers, you can update the device drivers. You can roll back the updates to previous one. You can uninstall the drivers. You can disable the drivers device also from the device manager. Okay. Yeah. And also we discussed about a printers. What are the printers are there? So generally, we have a different types of printers: dot matrix printer, inkjet printer, laser printer, thermal printers. Also there. If you are connected, like you are connect a printer directly to a system or laptop, so that is local printer. So if you want to take a print, you have to give print from that laptop on. So local printer. Shared printer. What is a shared printer? You connected a printer to your system, but your system is connected to network. But in the network, if someone want to access your printer, they can access through your system. They can access the printer through your system because your system is directly connected to the printer. So you must share the printer. You must share the printer from your system so others will access the printer with your system IP address. The shared printer. Network printer. The printer is directly connected to the network. So printer has an IP address. Users will access the printer with the IP address directly. Wi-Fi printers, wireless printers. Okay, Wi-Fi type of printers. Wi-Fi printers are connected. We can connect directly with our Wi-Fi router or Wi-Fi access point, wireless access point, or with the Wi-Fi router, or using hotspots also. You can able to connect mobile hotspots also. You can connect Wi-Fi direct connection is also there. So what is it? No, without connecting with wires and all, you can directly take a printout. It is more better in the offices. Okay, more better in a home purposes, small offices, Wi-Fi printer is also good. And how to configure the printer, like attach the printer, power on the printer. Okay, your system try to detect what is the device is connected and what once it is find what is the type of device is a printer, and then it will try to check what is the printer model. And printer model drivers are located inside operating system. It load the drivers and start. You can work on it. Otherwise, you have to install the printer drivers in the system, then you can start working with your printer. Another way of attaching your printer is connect a printer, then go to control panel and print, printer devices and printers, add a printer and select your printer. Okay, select your printer name there and then you can install it. Okay, already I told this thing. Okay, so add a local printer, find out the printer drivers. I think it is repeated. Okay, printer drivers and select the printer list if it is showing here. Otherwise, you can go to habit disk and try to locate the printer drivers in your system and select that INF file. Okay, then once you have installed the printer successful, and then start a test page first. Okay, so when you are downloading and installing your printer drivers or any drivers, guys, compulsory check the bit. If system is 64-bit, drivers must be 64-bit and compatible with your operating system and device models, versions, all these things you must check it. Okay, these are the things we discussed in a hardware and some basic of operating system related. Then we started discussing about a networking essentials. What is a network? Networking, internetworking. Connection of two or more devices is a network. Communication between these connected devices, interconnected devices is networking. What is the purpose of network? To share information, data, resources between the devices would be required network. If your network is there, then we can make a communication. Communication means sending a email, sharing a data, sharing a printer, all these things, communication only. Internetworking, communication between different networks. And what is Ethernet? Ethernet is an NIC, a network adapter, which is used to connect to the network from your device. You have a device, you want to connect it to a network. The device must have a NIC. In that one, we have wide type of NICs are there. Those we use Ethernets. Okay, we are using right from last 20, 30 years, maybe more than 30 years. We are using Ethernets to connect. Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet. These are the Ethernet based protocol we use to connect in the network. So usually for LAN connectivity, we need a Ethernet. Like you have a desktop, want to connect your desktop to the network, so you need a Ethernet. So Ethernet is a kind of NIC, network interface card. It's an adapter, also called as LAN card, which you can use it to connect your computer to the LAN network using UTP or STP cables. Simple. What is internet? Internet is a public network. It's a networks of network. Okay. So we are want to communicate outside of the network through the internet connectivity. Without internet, you can't access YouTube, Gmail, or anything you cannot access, right? Intranet. So I added this one. What is the intranet? Intranet is a network again. Intranet is a LAN network. Okay, you are accessing, you are communicating within the LAN. That is intranet. For example, your server, your mail server is in your network only. So you don't require internet. Any public internet is not required. You can directly communicate. That is a intranet. I have database server in my LAN network, so I don't require to buy any internet, right? I don't require internet, so I can directly access. That is called intranet, local. Internet, public, outside. And different topologies also we discussed: bus topology, ring topology, mesh topology, star topology, and hybrid topologies. And what topology we are using? Star topologies we are using. We are connecting devices to the switcher hub. Types of networks. Different types of network, that in the mainly 4 networks are important here. LAN, local area network, campus area network, metropolitan area network, wide area network. Wide area network is between different geographical locations. MAN within the city, CAN within the campus, LAN within the single room, floor, or an entire building we can connect, and geographically it is a single LAN network. And in a network, we use different cables. We discussed about the cables, right? So coaxial cable, and now we are not using these coaxial cables, and we are using twisted pair cables. In network, we are using twisted pair cables. Mainly in any local LAN networks, we are using twisted pair cables. Offices, internet centers, homes, we use twisted pair cables. In that one, STP we are using, unshielded twisted pair cable. Shielded twisted pair cable and shielded twisted pair cable. 2 types of twisted pair cables are there. And these cables also called as cat cables. Some people will call it as a cat cables. Some people call it as a LAN cable. Some people call it as a patch cable. Okay. Okay. So what is the twisted pair cable means? The pair of wires are twist each other. Okay. So that these wires are connected to the RJ, connected with the RJ45 plug or a connector. Okay, like this. And this is for two sides of the cable will be connected like this, and one side it will go to the computer or a laptop, and another side it will go to the switch or a wall mount. Okay. So what is RJ? RJ registered jack. What this is the name is RJ45 connector, RJ45 socket. Okay, different categories of these cables are there. Currently, we are using Cat 6. Okay, and of course, these cables also having some configurations like a crossover cables and straight through cable depends upon the type of connectivity. Fiber optical cables. So the here we are not using any copper. In a coaxial and twisted pair cables, we are using copper wires. Here it is glass. The material is glass. So, electromagnetic interference at all. And it is a signal is light signal. The fiber optic cables are used for very long distances and very high speed data transmissions. Fiber optical cables we are getting internet from the fiber optical under version fiber optical cables, continent to continent, country to country connectivities. Even within the country also, the main data transmission through this fiber optical cables only. Okay. So very earlier we use telephone cables. Now most of the telephone cables carrying data is reducing. Mostly we are using fiber optical. And in organizations, in enterprises, we have a data center. In the data center, servers, storage devices, network components, right? They are connected with the fiber optical. For LAN communication, we use, for regular communication, LAN communication, we use twisted pair cables. Nowadays, we are using Wi-Fi also. Okay. Why we are not using fiber optic cable for a LAN communication? Again, we require fiber optical switches, not only cables. Cables are cheaper, but switches are costly. The interfaces, our regular desktops, our laptops, our IP telephones do not have fiber optical interface. Okay, that is again that mechanism has a risky and as well as a cost. That's why we are not using it for a regular data communication. We are also discussed about a NICs, network interface cards. You want to connect any device to the network, that device must have a NIC. Whether it is wide type of connectivity or wireless type of connectivities. In a wide type of connectivity, we use Ethernet. And the connector, we have a on device RJ45 socket and we connect from the device to the network using UTP cables. These Ethernets also Ethernet, fast Ethernet, gigabit Ethernet also there. In wireless, we have a different wireless adapters are there to connect one system to another. You take a mobile phone, built-in mobile, there is a wireless adapter. Okay, wireless NIC, that adapter is built inside your mobile phone. Even for a laptops, inside your laptop, you have this type of adapter is there built inside your laptop. For a desktop, you can use this type of adapter additional to connect your desktop wirelessly. And this is a simple and easy carrying USB based wireless adapters. Okay. So some adapters only 2.4 gigahertz connector. Some adapters will give 2.4 as well as 5 gigahertz connectivity. So better to buy both dual band USB connector if you require. And wireless standard is 802.11. And there is, if you check the standards, there is a 802.11 A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. Okay, like that. What is the meaning of these A, B, D, G, N, A, C, D, A, D, A, B, like this? Meaning is it's a bandwidth support and data transmission support. Okay, for example, you take 11N. So dual band 2.4 and 5 gigahertz and data transmission is 600 Mbps support is there. Okay. Some are supporting 2.4, some are supporting 5, some are supporting both. Okay. It is that meaning. MAC address, whatever it is, NIC is a wide type of NIC, wireless NIC. It has a MAC address on it, which is given by the manufacturer of that NIC. You purchase a TP-Link adapter, TP-Link company is given a IP address, a MAC address on it. Okay. So what is a MAC? Media access control, also called as physical address. Because this address is permanent, it cannot be changed. Okay. And it is 48-bit in binary. Actually, we write in the hexadecimal, that is a 12 hexadecimal number. MAC address assigned are given by the manufacturer of that NIC. MAC addresses cannot be changeable. Now to check MAC address, you can use the get MAC or ipconfig space /r. There you can see the physical addresses. Also, you can use ncpa.cpl and go to that network connections window. Go to adapter, double click on the adapter details, then you will find physical address means MAC address. And what is the difference between MAC address and IP address? Guys, MAC address is for unique identification of device, not uniquely identified. It is there. MAC address is physical address. We cannot change. We can't define any network. A logical network we cannot define with a MAC address. Okay. IP address is a logical address. MAC address is a physical address. IP address is a uniquely identified device in the network. But MAC address is unique address. It's not repeated because it is given by the manufacturer of the tendency. And you cannot define the logical network. You cannot define this is a network. We cannot define it. It's all are become one single network. Okay. So all entire world is become one single network only. We cannot specifically communicate or we cannot define this is my network if we are using only MAC-based communication. That's why we don't communicate with the MAC address. In communication, MAC address is also involved, that too in the LAN communication only. But direct communication in the LAN or WAN, MAC is we are not using. Okay. With direct MAC, we cannot communicate. Only we communicate with the logical address, that is our IP address. Okay. MAC addresses can be, IP addresses can be changeable. MAC address cannot be changeable. IP address can be IP addresses. We can assign IP address to the adapter or to the system. We can assign an IP address. Manually, we can give the IP address or automatically it will get an IP address. How a system get an IP address automatically from DHCP server. IP addresses also have two versions, IPv4, IPv6. IPv4 32-bit, IPv6 128-bit. MAC address is only one version. There is no separate version. Only 48-bit. It represents in 12 hexadecimal. Again, what is an IP address? Logical address. IP address is uniquely identified device in the network. IP addresses can be assigned either manually or automatically. So DHCP server is assign IP address to the clients automatically. DHCP server assign IP address or configure IP address to the devices automatically. IP address can be changeable by manually or automatically. IP addresses defines logical network. That is important. IP address defines logical address. I have 100 computers on there, but I logically all are connected in the same network. Same network, physically same network. But I want to divide 10 computers separately. These 10 computers should communicate each other. That's it. I mean, not with other 90 computers. Okay, I can make that these computers logically a one single network. How to do it? By giving an IP address. They based on the IP address. That is called a IP address defining logical network. Every device must have an IP address to communicate in the network. Without IP address, you cannot communicate in the network. Must have an IP address. All communications by IP address. We cannot communicate with the MAC address. We cannot communicate with the names. Only we communicate with the IP address only. For example, you want to communicate to google.com, but we don't know the IP address. But all communication must be with IP address only. So you should know the IP address of google.com. What to do? Nothing. Your system will send a request to the DNS server. The DNS server returns IP address of google.com. Now your system knows IP address of google.com. Then you can able to communicate it to google.com server. Right? So that's the point of. Okay, IP addresses, two versions. IPv4, how it is look like? It is like a decimal format. IPv6 is hexadecimal. IPv4 and IPv6, that's 32-bit, 128-bit. Okay. IPv4 as 3.4 billion IP addresses we are getting from IPv4, IPv6, 3.4 billion IP addresses. IPv4, 4.3 billion, IPv6, 3.4 billions. It's also decillion. Okay. So IPv4 is actually we write in the decimal format. IPv6 is hexadecimal format. IPv4, this is totally 32-bit. We divide entire 32-bit into 4 parts, and each part we call it as an octet. First octet, second octet, third octet, fourth octet. Each octet is 8-bit. Total it is 32-bit. In IPv6, represented in hexa, one hexa is represented by 4 binary numbers. 4 binary numbers. So IPv6 is 128 and hexa number is 4 binary bit. So 128 by 4, it is around 32. So 32 hexa numbers are there in the IPv6. Maximum 32 hexa numbers are there in the IPv6. Okay. And every four hexa numbers, there is a separation, column separation is there. And like that, every 4 hexa numbers as one single block. So we have 8 blocks are there in IPv6. Again, in IPv4, so we have a divided 32-bit binary to 4 parts. So each part is 8. So each part we call it as an octet. Okay. So octet means 8 bits, 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8, like it is 32-bit. Okay. That octet range is from 0 to 255. It's a totally 256, but numbering is from 0. You are starting right, so it is 0 to 255. Means each octet is not more than 255. Each octet is not more than 255. So total, your IPv4 range is 0.0.0 to 255.255.250. That is a maximum range. Okay. So not more than that one. No 300.400.200 like that. Okay. So this is maximum range. And this entire range is again divided into 5 classes. Okay. So these classes basically works on the first octet of a IP address. IPv4 is first octet will defines what class of IP address it is. If first octet is ranging from 0 to 127, it's a class A. The first octet is ranging from 128 to 191, it is a class B. The first octet is 224 to 239, it is a class D. First octet is ranging from 242 to 55, it is belongs to class C. Okay. Out of these classes, this class A, some textbooks they write 1 to 126 because of 0.0.0.0 is a reserved IP address for certain services. So we cannot assign this 0.0.0 to any devices. Next, we cannot use this entire 0 series also. 0 dot anything, 0.0.0.1, 0.0.0.2, like that, they cannot able to use it also. So 0 is blank. Next, 127.0.0.1 is a loopback or local host IP address used for self-testing, self-device action. For example, in my system only, I have a certain service is there. For example, I showed MySQL. I want to access MySQL application from my PC to my PC. Okay, my SQL is in my laptop, and I want to access from my laptop only. So I use local host address 127.0.0.1 there. That is enough. If someone want to access from some other laptop, they want to access my MySQL in my laptop. So they need my laptop IP address. My system IP address is required. Okay, because it's not in their PC, it is in my PC. So they want to access me through network. So they should access through my IP address only. Okay, so 127.0.0.1 also reserved for loopback and localhost address, self-testing, self-host services access. 127.0.0.0 is also we cannot assign to any devices. Next one is you cannot assign any IP addresses in class E and class D also. Class E is for research and development still. There is not release those IP addresses to outside. And class D is a multicast address. These multicasting IP addresses used by this multicast type of communication protocols like ESGRP, OSPF kind of stuff. So your class A, class B, class C are unicast IP addresses. But 0.0.0 are 0 series, 127 series, and 169.254 series cannot be assigned to any of the devices. So how to identify your IP addresses, which class? Check their first octet. If first octet and this range suitable, then we can understand what is the classes of it. Okay. Subnet mask. What is a subnet mask? So you have an IP address. This IP address is two parts, network and host part. Why we need an IP address? Logical addressing. That is a logical address. It defines network and host. So there is a 10 computers. There 10 computers required to communicate each other in the local LAN. Their network ID must be same. The network portion must be same. Host portion is definitely different. Okay. But how system can know both systems are in same network or not? So they will calculate a network ID. Okay, they should calculate a network ID and it will know both systems are in same network. How it will be calculated? It use subnet mask. So when you define an IP address, when you give an IP address to your adapter, or DHCP server is given an IP address to your device, there is a subnet mask also. This subnet mask will tell so both systems are in the same network or not using ending operation. Default subnet mask for class C is 255.0.0.0, for class B 255.255.0.0. Class C 255.255.255.0. Okay. These are all you can read it once. What is a slash notation? What is a private IP? What is a private IP? The IP addresses they are given by IANA ICANN. Those IP addresses can be used in any private network, any LAN, local LAN network. You can use this private IP. No need to buy, no need to register anything. Any organization can use in their home or in the offices to communicate in the LAN network. They can use the private IP addresses. These are non-routable, so it cannot be go outside of your network. But communicate outside of your network, you need a public IP addresses. From class A and class B and class C, there is certain IP addresses are given. Okay. So you want to communicate outside of network, but still you are having a private IP address. Okay. Okay. So how to communicate outside of your network? You can use NAT or PAT techniques. What is this NAT and PAT? It translates, it maps your private IP to a public IP. NAT is one-to-one, one private IP address to one public IP, it maps. So when you want to communicate outside, you will communicate with that public IP address only. When you're receiving a packet, you will receive the packet with the public IP. Then it is translated back to the private IP. But that is not practically applicable for a home users. Like I cannot purchase public IP. Okay. So what I have to do? Instead of purchasing 10 public IP address for 10 private IP addresses for outside access, I use PAT technique. That is what happened. It is overload on the single public network only. Okay. Multiple private IP address overload to the single public IP address using port mapping. That's it is port address translation or NAT overload. Okay. Here I already explained how to assign an IP address manually or automatically. So how to do it? Go to ncpa.cpl, double click on the adapter, check the details, and you want to change the settings, then you have to go to properties, IPv4 properties, then you want to configure manually, use following IP address, give the IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server address. Guys, within the local LAN communication, you don't require default gateways. If you want to communicate outside of your network, then you need a default gateway to communicate. You want to get an IP address automatically from the DHCP server, you can select obtain IP address automatically. So how to check IP address? Of course, you go to the details, you will find an IP address. If it is showing DHCP enable yes, it means IP address is configured automatically. If it is showing DHCP enable no, then IP address is configured manually. If your IP address showing yes, IP address, DHCP enable yes, but if it is showing 169.254 dot something dot something, you got a IP address. Means your system failed to get IP address from DHCP. You select use for obtain IP address automatically, right? So what is it will do? If the adapter is connected to any DHCP server, so it will get the IP address from. But it is failed. So your system assign an IP address from like this 169.254 something dot something. Okay. So you have to that is also you have to yes and ABIPA address, automatic private IP address. What is the purpose of ipconfig? Check the IP address. ipconfig space / all to check IP address, MAC address, subnet mask, default gateways, DHCP server, DNS server, these operations. Also, you will get it. We are also networking devices are there. Hubs, switches, routers, and modems. Hub is used for small networks, LAN communication purpose only. Hub actually broadcasts the package to every device in the network. Switch also used for LAN communication, both small and large networks. Switch has a property like a MAC learning property. Switch create a MAC address table from connected devices. So what are the devices connected to the switch? It will learn the MAC address and create a MAC address table. When devices are communicating each other, it forward that packet to the destination directly like a unicast. Okay, so that is the main thing. So next one is router. Router is a inter-networking device. It make a communication between two or more different networks. Also shows best path to reach the destination. I'm just giving one or 2 points. Yes. These are all everything you have to read it. What is a modem? Modulator and demodulator. Modem use it to connect ISP. So then you will get an internet. In modem, you are already given your subscription identity, username, password kind of stuff. Then whenever you are connecting, like you switch on your modem, it send request to the ISP. ISP verifies your user identity. Once identity and subscription it is verified, based on your subscription, you will get internet from ISP to your modem. From modem, you will take internet and distribute that connectivity to your network through the routers. Okay. That is the purpose of wireless access point, to connect devices wirelessly. Then it is wireless access point required. So the WLAN creation. Switches and hubs creates LAN. Okay. What we are using in home
Yes,
is a,
sir.
what we are using Wi-Fi routers in our home. Our offices, we are using Wi-Fi routers. These Wi-Fi routers are contains internal modems. Okay, the modem part is there. It is also router. It make a connectivity between your outside network to inside local LAN network. And your Wi-Fi router is also wireless access point, so we can connect wireless devices. And also we can connect a wide type of devices to your wireless Wi-Fi router. And your Wi-Fi router, inside of Wi-Fi router, it is configured for a default gateway. You want to communicate outside of the network, you have to go through this default gateway interface only. DHCP server. Actually, it also acts like a DHCP server. From your Wi-Fi router, you are getting an IP address. Okay, you want to communicate anything with names, but you record an IP address. You will give IP address. Your Wi-Fi router act like a local DNS server. So then you send a request to local DNS server, means your Wi-Fi router. Wi-Fi router finally returns an IP address of your based on your name requirement, name type. Okay. In certain places, your router, your Wi-Fi router should require additional modem. Okay, earlier days we don't have that fiber optical integration with the routers. Okay, now we got Jio and Airtel. Those routers having a fiber optical inside integration. Modems are there. Otherwise, you have to separately purchase a modem to connect fiber optical outside to fiber optical to our modem, and modem to our Wi-Fi router. Wi-Fi router. Finally, we are connected. Yeah. OSA layers. What are the OSA layers? So OSA is having 7 layers. It's a reference model, networking model. It contains set of protocols which defines how to communicate. The way of communicating from our system to the destination to our system, that we can understand and troubleshoot with the help of this OSA model. So 7 layers: application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. You want to send a request, so then we need a few things. Application layer, which is like I've opened this page. So there, where I open web browser, that is my application. So what is the purpose of web browser? To access any web related kind of stuff, web applications, websites we can able to access. Okay. Next, other applications like Outlook VLAN, Putty, FileZilla, these are all different client side applications. And server side also, the server service provides, server provider service. How it is depends upon their applications inside. Okay. And how can this server understand what is your request by the protocol? Different types of protocols we use in the different types of communication. Web related, HTTP and HTTPS. While upload and download, FTP protocol. Remote access, SSH Telnet, RDP. Mail communication, SMTP, POP3, IMAP. Okay. Remote configuration, TFTP. Remote installations and configurations, TFTP. Remote IP address as configuration to the clients. Assigning our client configuration to the client is DHCP protocol. DNS protocol, get an IP address of a specific server in the domain. NTP to synchronize time with the time server. Kerberos for used in authentication protocol used in a Active Directory, Microsoft Active Directory. LDAP 389 is a open protocol. SMTP is used for monitoring to get a status, okay, information about your infrastructure deployed devices. SQL 3306. Okay, like a different name, Tomcat 8080, Tomcat 80. Not only Tomcat, there are a lot of people are used 8080. Next one is presentation layer. What is a presentation layer? Application layer is always caring and talking about your application side and protocols for their port numbers only. Without protocols, we cannot communicate. Why? Because you should know the server, the recipient or a client or server should understand what type of communication is. It's a, based on the protocol only they will understand it. Presentation, encoding and decoding. What are the type of data? It will be encoded and sent and decoded and received. Received and decoded. Okay. Compressed data, decompressed data. Okay. Encryption and decryption. And next is session layer. Session layer will create a session whenever you are sending a request itself. It is create a session, maintain the session. The required information is like a authentication information or specific data content information will attach it to the session only. That's why till your completion of request, you send a request, you get a response. Till the complete transaction, session should be active. Any disturbance occur at network, the session will be inactive. Sure. Understand. Transport layer. What is a transport layer? In a transport layer, data will be divided into small chunks. Small chunks. It is called segmenting. And numbering and sequencing is happen at a transport layer. And transport layer happens with a error correction. What is the advantage of chopping the data? So huge amount of data we cannot send. If you chop the data and send, that each one is numbering and sequence at a destination, it will be collected under one sequence order with your session ID. Okay. And also there is a flow control and TCP and UDP encapsulations. TCP type protocols and UDP type protocol. These are also important, guys. TCP and UDP differences. TCP type protocols are communicate like this: source and destination. Source send a packet to destination. Destination send acknowledgement. So TCP type protocols are acknowledgement based. When they send a packet and destination receive and destination send an acknowledgement, source understand, destination is received. That is the one. Second, source send a packet, source send a packet and destination is received or not, but destination not send a acknowledgement. So source and think destination is not received the packet. And source will send, resend the packet again. So like that, the data won't be missed any place. So it is acknowledgement based, reliable and connected oriented. Means the source knows destination is received a packet or not. It's a reliable protocols. UDP, user datagram protocol, no acknowledgement based. Source send a packet, destination received or not, source does not know. So this is UDP type protocols. Non-reliable connectionless protocols. Connectionless means source does not know about anything, destination received or not. That's why it is connectionless. Networking layer. Networking layer is talking about an IP address, IPv4, IPv6 logical addressing, as well as routing protocols, like how to reach the destination, routing protocols. Okay. Networking layer, one of the hardware example is router. Router is an example for network. Network headers and segmenting. So your transport layer attach a TCP header to your data from the segment layer, session layer. So this TCP contains information about your segment, numbering, sequencing, TCP, UDP, encapsulation is there. Okay. So this total we call it as a segment. That segment sent to the network layer. In network layer, it is attached source IP, destination IP, routing information to your segment. Then we call it as a packet. This packet is sent to the data link layer. In data link layer, the transmission type is WAN type, then LLC is involved. Okay. So it is like a WAN protocols will be attached. If it is a LAN, then MAC related protocols. Okay. So MAC addresses, source MAC address, destination MAC address will be added to your packet plus CRC, cyclic redundancy check. Use it to verify your data at a destination. Data is good or corrupted. So error checking at data link layer, error correction at transport layer. Physical layer, the PDU we call it as a frame at a data link layer that is sent to the physical layer. The frame convert into bit stream and bit stream convert into electrical signal or light waves or radio signal depends upon the connectivity you use it. Okay. So this is mainly OSI model. Okay. So when you are sending application to physical layer, when you're receiving physical layer to application layer, that's the point. We have another model called TCP IP protocol suite. It is what is the protocol, what is the network model we are using is TCP IP only. Okay, this contains 4 layers: application, transport, internet, and network access layers. Okay, when you compare with the OSI model, a lot of people think from OSI model TCP came. No, guys, TCP is built and used before OSI into market. OSI is no one is used. OSI is mainly for understanding protocols and communication path and troubleshooting. Application presentation session combinedly all these 3 layers duty in a TCP, it's done by only one layer that is called application layer. OSI transport and TCP transport is same. Network layer OSI, here it is internet layer. Okay, data link layer and physical layer combined, it is a network access layer. Our NIC card comes under network access layer. Our OSI model use it to troubleshoot the networks. So when you got any network related issues, depends upon the issue, you have to check from the OSI. Okay, it's a physical connectivity related, IP address related, firewall related, or server application related, or encryption related, or session expiry related. So depends upon what type of error you are getting, you have to decide based on the OSI what related issue it is. Then you can easily troubleshoot it. So this is, yeah, already I think it is covered, connecting 2 devices. To connect the 2 devices, different ways you can able to connect. With a wire, directly can connect. Through the switch or hub you can connect. Or you can use it wall mounts type. In offices, we use a wall network connector, right? So we'll connect there. Backend, it is connected to the main switch. So make sure both are connected. Okay. And both side IP address is assigned. And test the connectivity using ping command. From one PC, use the ping command and give the other PC's IP address. If you got a reply from destination IP address is a good. If you got a destination not reachable or unreachable or a request timed out, there is an issue. Even for a wireless devices, you have wireless devices like laptops and mobile phone. You want to connect through the Wi-Fi router. You must know the Wi-Fi router connectivity name, that is called SSID. So click on your network symbol, Wi-Fi symbol, then it will list the Wi-Fi names, Wi-Fi connection names. Then click on the name and give the password. Click on the name, click connect, and it asks for a password. Give the Wi-Fi router password and click automatically. It check the your authentication in the Wi-Fi router. If everything is good, you will get connected to the Wi-Fi router. So once you are connected, if you have a DHCP service from your Wi-Fi router, your system got IP address automatically. If not, you have to configure manually and test the connectivity between the devices. This is how to test. Ping command will tell your device is able to communicate to the destination. It is used to test connectivity between the devices. That is a ping command to test the connectivity between the devices. Okay. It uses ICMP protocol. It sends echo request and receives echo response. Source and destination. So you send a ping command from source to destination IP address. If you receive reply from, then it is good communication. If you got uh, differently, what is it? Destination unreachable. Okay, like this. It means the remote system is not available. Wrong IP address or connectivity issues are there. If you got request timed out, so check it. Your IP address is in the same local network or not. If it is the same local network related IP address, so check the device status is connected or any issue is there. Wrong IP or maybe remote system is down. So check the posted IP address, check the IP address, maybe wrong IP address, connectivity or remote system is down. Or everything is correct, but still you are getting request timed out. Two solutions. One is disable the firewall or go to the firewall advanced settings option, enable firewall. In the firewall, ICMP v4 protocol enable. Okay, make sure it is allowed. This is different ways. Ping destination IP and space -t or /t. It is a continuous pinging. Why we do continuous pinging? When network connectivity shows fluctuations in the network. So to understand how far it is disconnecting and connecting and again, we use a /t. One more important command is there that is called trace RT. What is a trace RT? Ping will tell you can you reach the destination or not. Trace RT will tell you how you reach the destination. How you reach the destination. These are some of the commands important in the networking. ipconfig says all, ping, trace RT, ipconfig release, ipconfig renew, ARPA, and netstat. So many other commands. Okay, this is up to here. Not only this, we have discussed so many things. We are almost in video. We have some more pages also there to discuss. Guys, up to now, okay? Did you recollect any information from last 20 days of syllabus? It's the first week syllabus only. Okay. Take a break, 10-15 minutes. Then we'll discuss all these things. Once again, just if you have any doubts, if you remember any doubts, or now you are getting any doubts, also ask me, I will explain it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
From where we'll start? From this is a starting after the break. How much time you want a break? So 4:10, 4:25. So have a tea or coffee and some relax. So then we can start. You can.
Okay, sir.